Okay, what a disaster of a plant. That's a rubber tree plant. Look at this. What a disaster. This is the whole thing. And I'm going to take this, and I learned a few things from YouTube, and I'm going to propagate it and try to save it so that it doesn't... Oh my gosh, somebody threw it out. So here's a picture of the plant. The branches are very stiff and bent, making it almost impossible to set straight. So I'm going to cut this. So here's the plant after I cut it, standing erect enough, and I waited about 3 weeks to make sure that the growth that existed was doing well, as you could see here, and it then was ready to sell, and I sold it. So I wanted to do an update to the rubber tree propagation that I did, that I had like a year ago, and I was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 probably propagations. So you know when something's going well, when the plant has growth happening after you planted it. But I want to show you, you know, that was a cutting. As you could see, there's a cut there, and from there up another tree was planted. All right, and then same thing with this little baby over here. All right, this little baby was a cutting, and now it's, when you see growth happening after you've potted it, you know that you are successful in its survival. So here was another, here's a top, here's one that was actually growing. Hold on, there you go. That's the big leaf, which is the one that was cut from the mother plant. So I wanted to show you, this is very important. So when you cut the leaves, they kind of like look like this, all right? When you cut them without those little bits of roots. That's this one. Okay, so that's what the cutting looks like. And then you put it in water. You kind of like, you could even submerge it completely, even up to the leaf in the water. This is not enough growth, okay, of roots. And ideally what I found is, even if I plant it like that, it's not gonna last. You need like a lot of roots before you're going to plant it into dirt. And then it doesn't have to be that watery anymore. Here's an example of one that I don't think is gonna make it, but it is making it so far. It's still green. That had a lot of roots, but it didn't have, I should have showed you this before I planted it. But here's a leaf that had a lot of roots and a little bit of leaves. You see that redness? A little bit of leaves growing while under the water, and I probably have to water this just a little bit more. So those little bit of leaves were actually growing under the water. And I wanted to point out, you see that white stuff? Just wipe it off. I don't know what it is. I have to find somebody that knows what that is, like on YouTube. And that's what I wanted to say about the rubber tree propagation, is that the big leaves that you have submerged in the water with their little wedge of cutting, which you have to cut, as you saw, above the notch a little bit, and then the rest of the inch below, but still above the prior notch, is that these leaves with their little stems could be in water for a very long time and not budge. And you could stack them all in one vase, and one leaf could be doing better than another. So best of luck with your propagation. So this one I sold for $25 with the granite pot. As you can see, this had a lot of growth. It was just the one leaf at the very bottom, which was the biggest leaf. And then from there grew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves. And then this 6th leaf coming out, as you can see at the top there. Very healthy. So I knew that it would be okay to sell. So this one was a section of stalk with 3 leaves, originally from the cutting, and then I rooted it, and then I potted it. And as you can see, it's growing sideways out from that cut, and it's going to be a harder sell, but it's doing well. It's got new growth, and it's nice. So this one, again, all from that same mother plant. I think that looks like 4 original leaves and now a sideways growth growing. It's interesting when a new leaf comes, it has like this little wrapper that then sheds and falls off. And then the new leaf will unfurl. This one I think was 2 leaves or 1 leaf and may have been the tip of the plant, and it's doing well.